Alright, this video, I just had somebody ask me in the comments about the UV lights, so this video is directly pointed to a question that I just had about the manufacturers and where to get the names of the UV lights. So here's a couple, and this is not all of them, but this is just some of the better ones. So here we have a Conroy, and you haven't seen the Conroy too much, but Conroy is a good little handheld packed one. So there's you can see the UV dye on there. Now that's a really strong UV dye because I did a recovery on this. So that's just the dye that's left over on my fittings when I attach. I'm about to do a vacuum and recharge on this one. So that's very concentrated UV dye. So this is the Conroy, and that's the name of it, and you can find it all over the internet. Look at the size of it. This packs a big punch for such a small little light. This is for the size, I could probably say this is one of the strongest ones. But what you got to remember is that UV lights are not all equal. They have wavelength bands. Okay, so here is the predecessor, or no, here's the one replacing the old. This is the Optilux. So there you go. If you see that right there. Opti Pro Max by Tracerline Products. This was the old one, and this was the best of the best of amongst the lower dollar ones. And you can see the dye there, and this is actually the newer version. I think the newer version has a focus length. No. Okay, so these are by the same company, Opti Pro Plus Max. Oh no, Opti Pro UV Plus. That is the replacement of the Opti Pro Max. You probably won't find this one, and this one has 3 stripes on it, and the 3 stripes are important because they had a 1 stripe, a 2 stripe, and a 3 stripe. So the one way you can tell you're getting the right one if you find somebody's old stock is it'll have the 3 purple stripes, and as you can see they're about equal. And actually on this particular one it seems like the old one is a little bit better. So there's that, and that, that, and that. It does appear that the old one, for that particular dye, outshines the rest of them. This one, it's a concentrated beam, so the strength for a smaller size. This one, they flood the beam out a little bit, so that makes it a little weaker. Okay, and so that was that one right there. So we'll get those out of the way. Now this is the UV Beast and this is the UV Beast. The reason I have 2 of the exact same ones is I lost one for a while and I couldn't find it. These are the exact same, but you screw on this extra cylinder and you can add another battery. So here, if you want it short, you can see the size of it. And you can't see with your eyes too good, but this is really bright, but they have a filter that filters out the visible light. So that's what it looks like with that. Oh, this is the other UV Beast. This is the 400 nanometer. So these are 2 different wavelengths. The black one is 365 nanometer. The silver one is 400. So let's look at it. This is what you see. Let's see. This is what you see with 400. This is what you see with 365. 365. 400. 365, 400. So some manufacturers dye, you will not see anything. When you use the 400, you see almost nothing. So it all depends on the dye. I have a combination dye here. I'm using Tracerline, and the other one I have a mixture. And so I got supposedly the best of both worlds, and it works really good. And so that is the UV Beast. Okay, and this is the silver one. It has no filter on the lens, and that's 400 nanometer. And these are both the UV 365 and the black one, 360, and it has the black filter on it, so that makes the 365 wavelength really strong. It's narrowed down to that. Turn these off. We got those out of the way. And then New Calgon doesn't make this, they just put their label on it. It's a universal Chinese made one. You could get on Alibaba, AliExpress, eBay, any of the Chinese websites, and even Amazon. And they just flooded it with a ton of lights. And as you can see it, but actually with my eyes, the camera makes it look brighter. Through the camera, you see it better than I do with the eyes. This one, on this particular circumstance, doesn't do as well. That's pretty good there. Okay, so that's the New Calgon. That's that guy. But remember, you need more than one light to work. Now here's your everyday cheapy $15 special you get from any of the auto parts stores, and I did a video on these. They suck, and you almost don't see anything, just a little ring, a little bit of the dye. And if we were out in the sun, or if you were in a parking lot and you were trying to find a leak with these pieces of shit that they sell in the auto parts stores, you wouldn't find anything. And the only reason you see glowing there is that that's 100% pure undiluted refrigerant dye that stuck on was on my gauges when I stuck it on there. But these things are absolutely garbage. Then you have these guys. Now this is a UV, but this is a burning. Now watch this. This one starts fires. This one actually burns stuff. As soon as you put it on there, I mean, I could burn the paint job on a car just by leaving it on the paint, so I won't do that. This one burns stuff. So this one, when it comes to being bright, nobody outshines these guys. But this guy's is ludicrous. Check this out. This guy will start roasting stuff. As you can see, the smoke starting to come off there. This one will make you blind instantly if it hits you in the cornea of your eye. But when it comes to reflecting, nobody outshines this for UV brightness. You have to wear your laser glasses for protection, because that brightness coming back to your eyes will damage the cornea of your eyes and make you blind. But nobody's gonna outshine me on this one. And same goes for this one. This is another one that burns stuff right away. Super bright, man. When you shine this sucker out at nighttime in the mist or the fog, or if it's cloudy outside. So that's this one here. And when this one reflects back, it's ungodly bright. You find the leak really fast, or you go blind. But yeah, no, I don't believe I have competition when it comes to using UV lights and which ones are best for what kind of dye, because I don't spare no expense at always trying to find the best for my customers, to do them the best job I can. So, oh yeah, and these ones are these aren't legal to actually sell in the United States. They have to be listed at a lower wattage because of the danger. So on the Chinese websites, they'll usually list them as a stronger light. On the American legitimate legal websites, they either can't sell them, or they might list them as a weaker strength LED diode inside there, because you have a limit that you could sell in the United States. So I had to import these directly. I got them off the Chinese website. And yeah, no, when it comes to competition, nobody outshines these ones. They're just blinding white. So I highly do not recommend these ones, because the damage to your eyes potentially can happen. This is like waving a loaded gun around inside and carrying with you every day and just throwing it out on the table. These are literally like a loaded gun to your eyes. So these ones are dangerous, but there is nothing on the market that will outshine them. And these are all the ones, well, not this one. Yeah, that's a piece of crap. That was O'Reilly's or Grand Auto or whatever. But these are all recommended. My highest recommended choices are the UV Beast. Here's a 400 nanometer to 365 nanometer. Then the predecessor, this Optimax is really good. This Optimax. And if you want the absolute smallest, where did it come? Oh yeah. In the last video, this was the other one I used. Now, this one is over $500. This used to be the cutting edge. Now these match these. Now, for under $100, you get what $500 used to get in. So this is a $500 one. And let me crank it down, turn it up to the next level. Hey, why won't it turn up? Oh, button's right there. There we go. So this is a $500 one. And as you see, it's not much brighter or does anything more than the ones that are under $100. This used to be technology. This used to be the best thing on the market. Oh, this one, and I forgot to tell you, and I lost it. It was a $700 one. Okay, by the same company, Optimax. So you got the Optimax and it said 365. It cost me almost $700 for that one. And it outbright shined this one by 10 times. It was just massively strong UV light. And I used to say when I first tried it out in, where was I? I was at one of the expos and I tried the Optimax 365. And I think I said in one of my videos, it was so powerful, it's like light bend, and it would still shine the UV light. So the Optimax 365 has now dropped down to around the $500 level, but you don't need to buy it anymore because LED technology is like computer chip manufacturer technology. Every 18 months, they're always like doubling the speed or the power or the brightness or the correcting for the UV length of the wavelength of the light. So now in these cheap lights can outpower and outdo a $500 light. And same goes with the Optimax 365. It used to be my #1 recommended light, but not no more because it's old technology, but they still want a high price for it. It's like if you bought a 20-year-old computer, and because they're still manufacturing it in, say, a 40-year-old computer or a 30-some-year-old computer manufactured in the United States, made by IBM, and they want $60,000 or $6,000 for it, but yet it comes with a 5 1/4 inch floppy drive, and it doesn't even come with 1 megabyte of memory, but they still want $6,000 for it because it's manufactured by American labor in the United States by IBM. Would you buy that? Of course not. You just go out and get your new PC or something like that. Well, that's what this technology is. This is old technology. Don't spend $500 on these or $700 on these types of lights. Like this predecessor of the one of this is the Optimax 365. That technology is no longer needed anymore. It's old, it's ancient, it's antiquated. Oh, I can't even say that word right now. But stick with this and you'll have something tried and true. But one light is never good enough because you have to have the different wavelengths of light for different dye manufacturers. And I've made videos on that before where some of these lights do not work on certain manufacturers' dye when I shine it on them, and I have to grab another one and then the other one will work. You have to understand, just like all lights are different, manufacturers' dyes are different. The wavelength that they need to stimulate the molecules to get the UV to fluoresce and come back to your eyes is different in the material they use for the dye, so you have a different light for a different dye. Alright, that's it guys. I'll see ya.